Okay, so we're talking about punctuation of adjective clauses. I forgot to record all of it. We just talked about rule number 1, that if the information is necessary to identify the noun, we do not use a comma. Rule number 2, if the information is not necessary. In this case, I always think of this as extra. It's just for fun. It's you just throw it in there because you want to. Extra information. It is not necessary to identify the noun. In this case, we're going to use a comma. Okay? So if I say, Professor Jenkins has written 2 books and many articles, that's enough information for my listener or my reader. Professor Jenkins has written two books and many articles. But extra information, what does he teach? He teaches psychology. So extra information, Professor Jenkins, who teaches psychology, has written 2 books. And in writing, we use a comma after the subject, before the relative pronoun, and at the end of the adjective clause. Okay. And again, I can say many different things about Professor Jenkins. Professor Jenkins, who loves to take a walk in the park, has written 2 books and many articles. It's just extra information. Use a comma. Mario left his laptop at, sorry if I don't pronounce this correctly, Turaka's restaurant. And that's enough. Like, he left his laptop at the restaurant. My reader and my listener know enough information. But if I want to describe this restaurant, where they have an internet cafe, it's extra information, so we use a comma. Now, rule 3 and 4, it looks a little specific because they're saying fruits, vegetables, animals, meats, etc. Just think of it like this. General nouns, if it's just general nouns, they get a comma because if it's general, it's common knowledge. People know about that, okay? So everyone knows about pasta. Everyone knows something about ducks, okay? So if I say pasta is an important part of the Italian diet, that's general knowledge, right? So if it's extra information, pasta, which is made of wheat, is an important part of the Italian diet. We put a comma in. Ducks can swim, waddle, and fly. That's general knowledge. So we're giving extra information here. We use a comma. Ducks, which make strange noises, can swim, waddle, and fly. My mother does not eat venison. People, for the most part, know what venison is, okay? And so it's extra information, venison, which comes from deer. So again, if it's a general noun, use a comma. But if it's specific, we might need that for identification. And just like this one, if it's for identification, don't use a comma. So rule number 2 and 3 are very similar. Rule number 1 and 4 are very similar. So in this case, specific nouns, fruits, vegetables, animals, meats, etc., specific nouns do not get a comma. So in this case, the peach was as hard as a rock. The peach was as hard as a rock. There's a simile, right? But what peach specifically? The peach that Maria bought in the fruit store on 6th Street. That identifies the peach specifically. The turkey, and here they didn't use that. The turkey that we ate for dinner was served with gravy and potatoes. The monkey that I saw at the zoo was climbing. So again, all of these are identifying. So if you need it to identify, no comma. If it's specific, no comma. Okay, and then some adjective clauses can modify or describe an entire sentence or a general idea. In this case, we use the comma. Okay, and so if I just have the sentence, Dina invented a popular app, the flight was 2 hours late, the restaurant was crowded. Those are independent clauses. Those are complete sentences by themselves. But I'm going to describe this whole sentence. Dina invented a popular app, which made her a rich woman. This adjective clause describes Dina and the effect of the app. The flight was 2 hours late. Here I'm going to give more information, which meant that I missed my connecting flight. The restaurant was crowded, which meant that we had to wait an hour to get a table. This phrase describes the general idea here, not just the restaurant or the crowd. Okay, now I want to stop there